Welcome to round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 International Championship. Top step on the ladder to Formula 1. I'm Bob Varsha along with David Hobbs. Our stage this weekend, the beautiful A1 ring in Spielberg, Austria.
Well, Bob, it's a bit of a shadow of its former self, the Österreich ring. There's no doubt about it. As you see the cars lining up on the grid, this is sort of about the only bit of the track that's left from the old track. And as we saw from that wide shot there, you just got some great mountains around this track. A beautiful, beautiful setting. There's no doubt about it.
See the field lined up on the grid. Let's take a closer look at the circuit.
Well, it's about 2.7 miles. As you can see, 9 curves. A lot of fast straights here. A little bit of elevation change, but some very tight corners. And Castrol Curve and Remus Curve have caught more than one top Formula 1 driver out. Goes to curve. The Niki Lauda curve's a quick downhill left-hander. And that Jochen Rindt and the A1 curve are very fast corners. They've also caught out some drivers. And then a long run up to the Castrol Curve, where we should see some overtaking, as long as we don't see some running into each other.
I have a great affection for this track. This was the scene of my first Formula 1 television effort back in 1987, when it was known as the Österreich Ring. A1, of course, is a sponsorship, Austrian cellular telephone company. And personally, I think Österreich Ring has a lot more romance to it. The field is underway. All of the drivers in identical Lola Zytek chassis on spec Avon tires. And once again, this is a Formula 1 weekend, so the Grand Prix team managers will be lining the pit wall to watch these young stars in action. Here's a look at the championship coming in. Brazilian Rodrigo Speraffico has led since the season opener in his native Brazil, but tied for second are Giorgio Pantano and Sebastian Bourdais. Pantano, the Italian, winner of our most recent race. That took place in Barcelona, Spain. And Sebastian Bourdais has won all 3 pole positions of the season thus far, but not this weekend. Tomáš Enge, the Czech Republic, has his Arden International chassis up front. Mario Haberfeld and Enrico Tocacello on row 2. Antonio Pizzonia, one of his better qualifying performances of the season, will be in outside row 3 alongside Swede Bjorn Waldheim. Patrick Freisacher is from Austria, so this is a home race for the Red Bull Junior team driver. And there is Bourdais after 3 pole positions outside row 5.
Boy, that's a long way down. Not where you expect to see him at all.
Of course, 4 races into the season, we expect the championship to be shaking out a bit.
And there's our points leader, Rodrigo Speraffico, right down there on row 7.
So we could see a big shake-up in the championship this weekend. Get a look from high overhead. Absolutely gorgeous place for a natural terrain racing circuit, and a big crowd on hand for this 4th of 12 rounds in the FIA International Formula 3000 Championship. This year, coming to you on tape delay here on Speed Channel. In 2003, we'll be getting it live or same-day coverage. We'll take a break. The lights are just ahead. Stand by for the start of round 4 in just a moment. Welcome back to round 4 of the FIA International Formula 3000 Championship. Bob Varsha, David Hobbs with you. The field forming up in anticipation of the start of round 4. 35 laps of racing around this 2.69-mile A1 ring circuit in Austria. Pole sitter Tomáš Enge to the right of your screen. Giorgio Pantano and the Coloni Lola on the left. Long wait on the rev limiter before these cars get away, and Enge will slot into the lead. Pantano will challenge around the outside, but he won't get there as they head into turn 1.
This is that Castrol Curve. It's been the scene of some disasters in Formula 1. A lot of people running wide on the exit,
including Sebastian Bourdais.
Boy, Sebastian Bourdais right down the middle of the pack there, having been on the pole for the last 3 races. Some shuffling going on as they come up to the Remus Curve. This is another good spot for overtaking. Ooh, 3 abreast there. That isn't going to work.
Oh, we've got body parts flying through the air. Someone might have lost a front wing. Oh, there's Sebastian Bourdais, turned around, tied for second of the championship. His race is off to a terrible start.
Oh, big time blocking up there.
And that was one of the Red Bull Junior cars missing the left front wing, I think, which helps explain the lockup.
Right, exactly, yeah. That was Ricardo Mauricio, I think.
Now the field beginning to string out just a little bit. Is that Pizzonia on the attack? Yeah, there's a Red Bull front wing element. Enga with a quick early gap over Pantano. Excuse me, Verdheim is up to second. That's Bjorn Verdheim. I'm getting mixed up with all the red cars. Bjorn Verdheim makes it an Arden International 1-2. Haberfeld.
Whoa, side by side there into that Castrol curve. A couple of cars looked awfully close to me.
These guys are really battling as we begin lap 2. Enga safely out in front. Now Bjorn Verdheim is in second. Mario Haberfeld runs in third with the white Lola with the yellow rear wing. Wheel to wheel, though, continuing as they battle through the Remus curve. Now on the highest part of the course, up the valley from start-finish. Here's another look. There's Bjorn Verdheim going around both of the red Colonis.
And there's Stefan Bourdais being spun around right in the middle of the pack. And of course, Sebastian Bourdais getting spun around there, and of course drops him right to the back. Now that is just one of the problems of any racing, of not qualifying well. You get into that melee in the middle of the pack. It's so much better to be at the front.
Good look at Tomas Enga. There's Bjorn Verdheim, then Mario Haberfeld. Downhill right-hander, long sweeping turn. As you can see, the driver's using all of the racetrack and then some.
So the Arden International cars, 1 and 2 at the moment.
Look at all that gravel on the racetrack. Drivers getting their wheels off.
Petrobar cars running side by side. Whoa, we got some more lucky up there.
That's Ricardo Mauricio in the pits. You can see the damage to the front wing. So that will put him well back in the field. As we continue under green, Bjorn Verdheim has set fastest lap of the race on lap 2. Mario Haberfeld in the white car right there with him, however. Then Giorgio Pantano and David Salins in the first of the European Minardi Formula One Junior Team cars. Patrick Freisacker, the Austrian, teammate to this man. Ooh, a little anger there on pit exit.
I guess so.
Freisacker running in the points in front of his home fans. Up front, Arden International has yet to win a race in the FIA Formula 3000 Championship, but they're running 1-2.
That's Alex Sperafico in the Minardi there, having a good gravel bathe. That's going to put some gravel back on the track and get it in all sorts of nasty places in that car as well.
He is the cousin to Rodrigo and Ricardo Sperafico, the twin brothers who are also in the series. There's a look at him going off in the final corner.
That's that Jochen Rindt curve, gets way out to the gravel there.
Excuse me, second to last corner. We've seen a few Grand Prix drivers this weekend go off there as well. Very tricky corner. Mario Haberfeld in the Team Astro Omega Lola right there on the attack. He has reset fast lap, or taken fast lap, from Bjorn Verdheim. Not for the last time, I suspect. Teammates running close together up toward the front of the order. There's Patrick Freisacker, very much the home favorite here at the A1 ring in his native Austria. We'll take a break and return with more of round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 Championship. Welcome back to round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 International Championship. Bob Varsha, David Hobbs with you. The racetrack is the A1 ring in Spielberg, Austria. No relation that I know of to the famous movie maker. And it is an Arden International 1-2. Race leader Tomas Enga. Running second is his teammate, the Swede Bjorn Verdheim. The field makes its way up the long start-finish straightaway and into turn 1, the Castrol curve.
Giorgio Pantano has dropped to 4th. Our winner last week in that terrific battle in Barcelona has dropped to 4th.
Still dicing further back. It's Ryan Briscoe being put a lap down by the field. He's with the Nordic Racing Team, last year's team champions. They've gone with two very young drivers this year, Zolt Baumgartner from Hungary and Ryan Briscoe from Australia, and they have paid the price. They have not performed terribly well. Having said that, such is the competition level in this championship that none of the drivers through 3 rounds thus far, and after this race, this will remain the case. No one has scored in each round of the championship thus far. Ryan Briscoe also doing some testing for Toyota's Formula One effort. You see a lot of Toyota signage around the racetrack. This is, of course, a Grand Prix weekend. Good close look there at Alex Mueller with the Durango team. Teammate to Rodrigo Sperafico, who is the championship leader coming in, but Sperafico bit off his game in the last race in Spain, and here as well in qualifying, well back in the grid.
Yeah, we just saw a glimpse of the two Petrobras Junior team, Ricardo Sperafico leading Antonio Pizzoni at the moment in those two cars. Pizzonia, everybody's hot tip for the future, not having a good run today though, but right in the middle of this pack. But of course the times are very competitive, not that easy to do well.
Another guy not having a good race is Ryan Briscoe there. You see him off to the right in the red car, obviously slower than the field. He's motioning the other cars by. May have some kind of a problem. I couldn't tell if it was smoke or dust from the car.
I think it's probably dust because he's so far off line. He's trying to keep out of the way, but he's obviously got some sort of mechanical problem, maybe stuck in the wrong gear. Or
Rob Nguyen behind him, the driver of Vietnamese and Australian extraction, who actually lives here in Austria, so he'll have some fans in the crowd as well. Here comes Ricardo Mauricio. We saw him in the pits earlier getting the front wing fixed. He is a lap down, but better off than the man he just went by, Alex Sperafico, who is 4 laps down. Mauricio, for his part, runs 17th.
Field really opening up pretty much here after that frantic first couple of laps. Suddenly started to open up quite a lot. Giorgio Pantano, our last winner, has just done the fastest lap on lap 8. He would rather be a bit closer to the front though.
Using the curbs and that climbing right-hander, the Remus curve. Very difficult corner. Up to the front runners once again. Look at Pantano.
You see the battle for 5th.
David Salins in the Minardi, the Belgian driver, holding off Austrian Patrick Freisacker for the 5th place. Freisacker in 6th, the final points-paying position. Enrico Toccacello and the other Coloni just behind. We'll take a break and return to Austria. Welcome back. Round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 International Championship continues here on Speed Channel. Bob Varsha, David Hobbs with you. Just beginning lap 12 of 35. Look at that crowd. The biggest crowd we've seen thus far in the 3000 Championship.
Well, of course, it's a beautiful day for staying out after the Formula 1 qualifying, which ran about an hour ago. So a lot of the crowd staying on to watch the Formula 3000 boys. This is the battle for 5th.
Patrick Freisacker in the Red Bull Junior car has 5th place. Enrico Toccacello is in 6th place. He has 2 consecutive 6th place finishes for 2 points on the season coming into this 4th round of the championship.
No, didn't want to be back in 6th place. He qualified in 3rd, so he was one of those guys that lost out in that pretty frantic first lap.
Rob Nguyen in 11th, having his best run of the season thus far.
It's a great aerial shot on the Niki Lauda curve and the Gerhard Berger curve. Here you see them again. The Petrobras cars still more or less together.
It's the battle for 8th. 4 cars running nose to tail. Ricardo Sperafico has gotten by Alex Mueller in the blue car for the Durango team. Antonio Pizzonia is there. Rob Nguyen is right there. 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, all running nose to tail.
Rob Nguyen having a good day today. Right up with Antonio Pizzonia. Right with Antonio Pizzonia as they come out of the A1 curve.
Pizzonia looking down the inside of Mueller briefly. There's Nguyen. Close look here at Thomas Enge in super slow motion for your viewing pleasure.
They're great, those super slow-mos. I think just see everything just wobbling and shaking about. You wonder how these cars last. Ooh! Muller gets outbrake there by Antonio Pizzonia. Into Remus, that's for 9th spot. Ooh, these boys are close together.
This is Nguyen taking a shot at Mueller. Nguyen in the white car. Mueller in the blue. Wheel to wheel down in the Gosser curve.
Nguyen has the inside line now. Mueller comes back. But Nguyen hangs on to the position. Just.
Nicholas Chiesa in the black car drawing up into this fight. Chiesa with the PSM Racing Line team. Brand new team in Formula 3000 trying to find their way. This is a replay of Pizzonia's pass on Mueller for 9th.
Mueller very wisely there, backed out, did not hold his line there and let him go. That could have been a wheel removing incident.
Emphasize once again, all of these drivers in the same chassis, using the same engine and tires. Lola chassis using a gearbox, a 6-speed derivation of the successful Lola Champ Car unit used in the United States in kart FedEx Championship racing. Tires from Avon, a fairly hard compound, and we saw in the last race in Barcelona that they can be used up. Sebastian Bourdais, desperately trying to hold off the attentions of Giorgio Pantana, got locked in a terrific race-long battle, and in the end he just didn't have enough tire left, slid off the road and went from 1st to 3rd.
Bjorn Verdheim not losing much ground here on Thomas Enge in the second of in the first of the Arden cars. And right behind them, Haberfeld hanging in there. So the 3 leaders pulling away just a little bit now from Pantano in 4th. There you see Pantano just coming over the brow of the hill.
That's Alex Sperafico back in the pits. He was 4 laps down, and we're adding more. And the team looking up, looks like he's being held there for some reason. Some sort of on-track infraction, I'm guessing. Well, there's no official there holding him, but the mechanic raised thumbs up as though, can we release him now? I'm not sure what's happening there. All I know is Sperafico is toast.
Thomas Enger's now done the fastest lap of the race, taking it away from his teammate.
Leading with authority, an Arden International 1-2. We'll be back to Austria.
I am.
Welcome back. Working lap 17 of 35 in round 4 of the FIA International Formula 3000 Championship, and race leader Thomas Enge, who just a couple of laps ago set fast lap of the race, locks up those Avons into the climbing Remus curve.
Swooping through the Austrian countryside.
Really a beautiful part of Europe. Number 24, Enrico Toccacello, who qualified on the inside of row 2, but has been going backwards ever since. It'll be very disappointing for the Italian. Currently in 7th place, out of the points-paying positions, behind Patrick Freisacker of Austria.
And the Coloni team had such a good run last week. Both cars scoring points. Toccacello getting 1 last week, and of course Pantano winning the race. Pantano still looking in 4th spot. Not where he wanted to be either, considering he started on the front row. So both Coloni cars not getting off to a good start.
Saw the flags of the Arden International team supporters there for Enge and Wertheim, who currently run 1st and 2nd. What a day it would be for them if they can hold on through the second half of this race for a 1-2 finish.
Mario Haberfeld now closed the gap to Bjorn Wertheim for that 2nd position. Just half a second behind.
This is Toccacello trying to close up on Patrick Freisacker.
David Selene's there in 5th spot too.
It's across the top of the hill, heading for the Gosser curve. Beautiful little chapel up on the top of that hill to the right. May get it. No, I guess not. Not in that camera shot. Good fight going on here. It's Rodrigo Sparrofico on the left, and Tiago Montero, a little bit of a chop there. Sparrofico has to lock up the wheels. This is for 14th place. Our championship leader is battling for 14th.
And battling hard, too. He's pushing very hard here.
Diego Montero in the blue and yellow car, very reminiscent of the Renault team colors in Formula One racing, is the teammate to Sebastian Bourdais. He's in the hunt for the championship lead right now. You see that a lot in international Formula 3000 racing. One front-running teammate along with a younger teammate just learning his way in the series.
Well, Diego Montero under some severe pressure now from our current series leader, Rod Sparrofico, pushing very hard. But I mean, when you think these guys are racing for 14th, 13th, whoa! Sparrofico has a very good slide there, but holds it well. Doesn't lose much momentum and is right on the tail of Montero as they go into the Castle curve. Good overtaking spot, just a little bit far back. Both running very wide on the exit. Quick run down now, very fast run down to Remus. Sparrofico going for the outside. Ooh, gets squeezed over, but hangs in there. Oh, can he? No, locks up. But closes the door and snatches a position.
Great fun to watch. Racing hard for 14.
All that effort for 14.
Here's another look. He has the advantage through that left-hand kink, but then has to lock him up hard and try the outside line in the Remus curve.
Good driving by both those guys there. They didn't touch wheels. They got very, very close. You see that lock up again. Big lock up. You'd think he'd have lost enough momentum there, but Montero couldn't quite make it stick, and he's just on the outside there. And Montero has to just back off that little bit.
Now Sparrofico able to open up a bit of a gap over the young Portuguese driver. Speaking of opening gaps, our race leader, Tomas Enga, is well out in front now, more than 2 seconds ahead of his teammate, Bjorn Wertheim.
Bjorn Wertheim has still got Haberfeld just right behind him. 2.5 seconds there. There you see Wertheim. Haberfeld just behind him in third.
Haberfeld planning to test with Walker Racing in the Kart FedEx Championship Series in the United States.
Giorgio Pantano not having the day like we've seen the last couple of races, Imola and Spain, where he ran so well, winning in Spain, fighting very hard in both those races, but today somewhat lackluster performance, somewhat on his own in fourth spot and losing ground slightly to the leading trio.
For a fan of Formula One racing, that is the junior team to the European Minardi squad owned by aviation magnate Paul Stoddard from Australia.
Toccocello there in 7th spot.
Everybody using the runoff there.
Boy, aren't they big time.
Toccocello not able to make much of a dent in Freisacher's margin. Last year, Patrick Freisacher qualified on the front row, the outside of the front row for this, his home race, alongside then pole sitter Sebastian Bourdais. He was not able to finish in the points. I'm sure he'd give up a couple of spots on the grid in order to pick up some championship points in front of his home fans here in Austria.
Another fastest lap there for Thomas Enga, which is only just about 0.6 of a second slower than his pole position time. So that is quick for the middle of the race.
He remains the race leader, expanding his gap. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 Championship from the A1 Ring in Austria. Bob Varsha along with David Hobbs watching the great stars of the future in Grand Prix racing or perhaps open wheel racing elsewhere in the world. There is Tiago Montero rolling down the pit lane, teammate to Sebastian Bourdais at Supernova, obviously with some problem with the car.
Just saw him having that terrific titanic battle with Rodrigo Sparrofico for 14th spot. Obviously having some sort of a problem. Ooh, tyre problem. Looked all right.
These are sprint races, so any trip to the pits is going to be costly, and you could tell by the way they were handling that pit stop, not something they're used to doing.
No, it's not like the Formula One stops, are they?
Let's look at Alex Mueller closing in on Ryan Briscoe. Briscoe was a lap down, however, the young Australian with the last year's team champions from Nordic Racing. Nordic finished 1-3 in this race a year ago with Justin Wilson winning, and Thomas Enge, our current leader, having switched over to the Arden International team, finished third last year. A great race. Second place taken by Bas Linders with the KTR team.
Pulling away, Thomas Enge now pulling away from his teammate, who is really under severe pressure here from Haberfeld. Verdheim just slipping back away, nearly over 4 seconds behind his teammate Thomas Enge, who seems to be in control of this race very much so. There's Toccacello. Still in 7th.
A Grosser curve, long downhill plunge from here. It's the Niki Lauda curve. 3 of the corners on this track named for Austrian Formula One greats, including world champions Niki Lauda and Jochen Rindt, and Gerhard Berger, who had so many great years with so many great teams.
And now, of course, in charge of the BMW Williams Formula One onslaught for the World Championship.
So he'll have a lot of interest in what's going on out here. There is Antonio Pizzonia, test driver for the Williams BMW team this year. Chasing his teammate, Pizzonia, from Brazil, from a rural area of Brazil near the Amazon River that has led to his nickname, Jungle Boy.
Sperafico ran a bit wide in the A1 curve coming onto the front straight there, which I think helped Pizzonia just a little bit. Very evenly matched, these two cars, though, aren't they? Down to the Remus curve.
Sponsor, Petrobras, Brazilian oil giant, longtime supporter of Williams in Formula One. No longer, however, Castrol having taken over as a part of the BMW package. But like so many big Brazilian companies, they are staunch supporters of their young drivers.
Boy, aren't they ever. I mean, there's so many Brazilian drivers in Europe, in America, North America, and they're all helped by Brazilian industry of one sort or another, which is a terrific thing to see. Wish we could see a bit more of that out of Europe and also out of the USA, quite honestly.
My thinking exactly.
And a lot of the companies, of course, that we talk about are very often branches of a multinational that's usually headquartered here in the States anyway.
That's true. A lot of people bemoan the lack of American companies in Formula One when actually there are a lot of American-based Formula One supporters. Ironic then that a great supporter of young American drivers seeking to make the Formula One level is an Austrian company, Red Bull Energy Drinks. Close look there at our race leader, Thomas Enge from the Czech Republic, third a year ago here at the A1 ring, looking for a victory. If he can get it, it'll be his first of the season. The change in the top 6, Enge, Verdheim, Haberfeld, Pantano, Salins, and Freisacker. We'll be back to round 4 in Austria in a moment. Welcome back to the A1 ring in Austria in round 4 of the FIA International Formula 3000 Championship. I'm Bob Varsh along with David Hobbs. 10 laps remaining in this 35-lap sprint race. Pole position taken by Thomas Enge, who is the race leader at 1 minute 22.190 seconds around this 2.68-mile circuit. Compare that, if you will, with the Formula One pole this weekend taken by Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari at 1 minute 8 seconds.
Toccacello here running in 7th spot at the moment, having qualified 3rd, trying to take back 6th spot off Patrick Freisacker. Had a really strong go at the Castrol curve, couldn't pull it off, so he remains in 7th spot. Can't get around Freisacker, but he's sort of all over him like the proverbial cheap suit, but doesn't seem to be able to make it stick.
And that is a huge battle of interest to the fans this weekend, because Freisacker in the Red Bull car in blue and yellow is an Austrian. Here's another look at Tocacello's attack.
Yep.
Couldn't get it done.
He tried hard, and of course the Coloni cars both scored points last week, so he would dearly like to get that 6th position back and score another point for the team and for himself this week.
They're in a good position to move up. They're currently tied with the Durango Formula team for the team championship leadership. And Giorgio Pantano, who currently runs in 4th place, could move into the Drivers' Championship lead. None of the other top 3 drivers in the championship are in points-paying positions right now. 9 laps to go. There's Mario Haberfeld of Brazil, having a very consistent season. Currently 4th in the championship with 8 points.
2nd in front of his home crowd in Brazil. First race of the season.
He could move up as well. Rodrigo Sparafico, our championship leader, coming in by 2 points over Giorgio Pantano and Sebastian Bourdais, is running well back in the field. So Pantano, Bourdais, and Haberfeld could move up into the top 3 spots.
Baumgartner in front of Rodrigo Sparafico, which is not what you'd expect to see. Baumgartner having a couple of offs, a big off in Spain just on the very first lap, had a big off at Brazil.
Zsolt Baumgartner, probably the top racing driver in Hungary, is with the defending champion teams from Nordic Racing. Of course, having said that, Nordic, along with the Minardi and PSM teams, have yet to score a point in 2002.
There's Baumgartner has got past Alex Müller, and Ryan Briscoe is following right behind, but he is a lap down.
Baumgartner raced in German Formula 3 the last 2 years. He too was a protege, supposedly the apple of Alain Prost's eye, but when Prost's empire in international open wheel racing fell apart, so did Baumgartner's chances. Here he goes around Müller in replay. Back to live action. Müller and Rodrigo Sparafico, his teammate, having a private battle of their own. This for 13th.
So Rodrigo Sparafico certainly not giving up today, but every position he's clawing back, trying to claw one back now from Müller. But you know, we're still 6 places away from getting a point, so he's got a lot of work to do to get into the points.
Oh, that's David Salins, who was running in 5th, looking for the first points of the season for the European Minardi squad. Looks like he will not get them.
He was running strongly too. He was actually catching up with Giorgio Pantano. He was only just behind him in that 5th spot, so that is very disappointing for Salins and of course for Minardi.
A little trouble with the tube to his drinks bottle.
Either a drivetrain failure or obviously we have no idea what it was.
A sign of smoke from the car. This is Tomas Enge, the race leader, passing Ricardo Mauricio, putting him a lap down. Oh, Mauricio locking him up.
Mauricio, of course, came 3rd in his home race in Brazil.
An unprecedented Brazilian sweep of the top 4 places.
But a lap down here. There we see Patrick Freisacker and Tocacello battle still going on there for 5th and 6th. Now Salins has dropped out. We see Salins' car on the left there. So these guys now duking it out. So at least Tocacello's got that point that he wanted so badly, but he'd rather have 2 than 1.
So Tocacello inherits a spot in the top 6 as David Salins decides to let the pit marshal run piggyback. I can get this bike back to the pits faster than you can, pal. Let's go.
I don't know what he's going to do when he gets back there.
No rush, unless he wants to catch the podium ceremony. 6 laps to go.
Or the plane.
Someone put a couple of wheels off, but then again, everybody is doing it here in this corner. The uphill right-hander at Remus. Now this long blast climbing all the way past grandstands, set into the hillside. The old course used to run behind that hill. Oh! That was Bjorn Wertheim getting sideways, threatening to toss away his best career finish in a second spot.
And Giorgio Pantano is catching up with that battling duo.
This race a long way from over. 5 laps to go. Next time past the flag stand. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to the closing laps of round 4 of the FIA International Formula 3000 Championship. I'm Bob Varsha with David Hobbs. I need to correct something I said earlier about Sebastian Bourdais moving up in the championship. Bourdais, who got turned around in the chaos of the opening laps of this race, is now out of the race, so he will not be going anywhere in the championship except perhaps backwards, as Thomas Enge leads the way over his teammate Bjorn Wertheim of Sweden in an ardent international Team 1-2.
Look at this battle here, though. Pantano for Haberfeld for third. Pantano, every race we see Pantano struggling to make up ground. I mean, he fights absolutely like a wild man, and he had to do it in the last 2 races. Of course, he wins that one, but boy, oh boy, he's giving Haberfeld a hard time now. And of course, Pantano must be kicking himself anyway because he qualified on the front row. Should be up there with Thomas Enge.
Yeah, he got shuffled backwards in those early laps.
Made a good start too. He just suddenly went off the pace in the middle of that first lap and never been able to really get it back.
May have learned something in the last race in Barcelona about conserving his tires, but he may have left it too late. Just a couple of laps remaining.
Oh, Haberfeld using his tires up now.
Then
big
again.
time. Sliding through there, but he's hanging on there with 3 laps to go. But Pantano, knowing what happened just a week ago in Barcelona, is thinking, well, anything can happen on the last lap. I could pick up a couple of spots here.
That's right. He led only half a lap at the Circuit de Catalunya.
If he keeps the pressure on everybody up on the rev limiter there, you can hear those rev limiters cutting in.
460 horsepower from the Zytec V8 engines. Oh, Pantano looking around Haberfeld. This is another patented Pantano move. He's looking down the outside, then pulling the switch, trying the inside. He has the line.
He does have the line. Now he doesn't.
Yep.
Well, it's quite clear that if he could get past Haberfeld, he'd pull away. We've seen this before with Pantano.
Exactly.
He certainly comes to life towards the end of these races, and just giving Haberfeld a tremendous run now for this 3rd spot. Very, very important to get that 3rd. You know, 4 points is it's a big deal.
Absolutely. There's Thomas Enge, race leader. Ricardo Mauricio is a lap down. Here comes Wertheim. As you see, the gap now over 5.5 seconds. And this great battle between Haberfeld in white and Pantano in red. Here's Patrick Freisacker and Enrico Tocacello, 5th and 6th. Antonio Pizzonia with the Petrobras Junior team is now 7th, but nowhere near this battle for the final points-paying position.
So Pizzonia, who qualified 5th, went right back to 15th or 16th spot at one stage, and he has fought his way back to 8th, but he needs to get a couple more spots if he wants a point.
There'll be 1 lap to go. You'll see the top 6.
Furious battles going on here. Haberfeld.
Well, Sperafico is ahead of Pizzonia for 7th place. Rob Nguyen in 9th, having one of his best races of the year.
He is having a good run today. Rob Nguyen had some fairly disappointing runs, but of course he's new to this series, completely new to this series.
Freisacker and Tocacello. Of course, Austrian TV, our host broadcasters, very interested in that Red Bull car. And it looks as though Thomas Enge has allowed Ricardo Mauricio to make up one of his laps.
Well, he doesn't want to make any mistakes at this stage. He doesn't want to overstress the car or himself.
A good point.
Just got to really keep cool with just a couple of laps to go. And he's got a pretty healthy margin over his teammate, who is being pressed somewhat by Haberfeld, although actually the two Arden cars are pretty much on their own. There we see Haberfeld, and right behind him is Pantano in the Coloni car.
Final lap. As you look at Patrick Freisacker, there's the race leader, Thomas Enge. Gave his then teammate Justin Wilson a great run for the championship last year. Hopes to be a champion in his own right this year. Spent some time with the defunct Prost Grand Prix team in Formula One. Got a taste of what it's like at the elite level of international open wheel racing. Would love to have another shot at it. Slick looking race cars. Hard to imagine they're 14 seconds slower than the Grand Prix machinery around this track. Less than 3 miles long.
They are slick looking cars. They must be great fun to drive, I'd imagine, too.
Checkered flag out and waves for Thomas Enge, who decides to completely destroy his tires after crossing the finish line with his first victory of the year and a shot at the championship lead. We'll have to total the numbers. There is his teammate behind. Arden International has never won a race in Formula 3000 until today, and they get it in spades with a 1-2 finish.
Well, the owner of that team, Christian Horner, must be absolutely beside himself with joy. That was a terrific display by the Arden team. A bit risky there, the move he made there in front of the field.
Just a little more enthusiasm from the flag man there. We'll have to give him a quick primer and flag waving. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. There is Patrick Freisacker, who has picked up a couple of points here in front of his home fans in round 4 of the FIA Formula 3000 Championship, but not as many points as this guy, Thomas Enge, who jumps into the arms of his teammate Bjorn Wertheim, wearing the colors of the Swedish flag on his helmet. A 1-2 for the Arden International team. Great result all around. Here's a look at the final results. Thomas Enge picks up his first victory of the season over Bjorn Wertheim. His teammate Mario Haberfeld will get on the podium, while Giorgio Pantano, a winner in our most recent race in Spain, comes home 4th, and home favorite Patrick Freisacker 5th, ahead of Enrico Toccacello.
Who gets the last point. Antonio Pizzonia pulls himself back up to 7th, and Ricardo Sperafico pulls himself up from a middle of the pack as Rodrigo Sperafico, who was the championship leader going into this race, finishes in 12th spot.
And that will cost him his lead in the 2002 championship.
David Salen's there. Very disappointed to see him out of the race when he was lying in 5th spot.
Here are the title standings after 4 of 12 rounds. Enge and Pantano, each with a victory, tied just 1 point ahead of Rodrigo Sperafico, followed by Sebastian Bourdais. 10 drivers have scored points in the championship, but as I mentioned earlier, no driver has scored in every round thus far. In the team standings, Arden International leaps into first place among the constructors, with Coloni in second place and Durango Formula in third. So we are 1/3 of the way through the 2002 FIA Formula 3000 Championship. As you watch the celebrations on the podium, there's the Arden International crew saluting their drivers, Enge and Wertheim, on a 1-2 finish, the first for the team at this level.
Well, as I said, a great day for Arden International, and Christian Horner, who raced in Formula 3000 himself there for a couple of years, decided that running a team was better than driving in it, and certainly today he proved his point. A terrific result for the team.
Mario Haberfeld accepts the 3rd place trophy. From here, the next round is perhaps the most important of all. On Grand Prix weekend in Monte Carlo, round 5 of the 2002 championship will be coming your way here on Speed Channel as the champagne celebration breaks out. These guys are in full Grand Prix form when it comes to spraying the bubbly. Be sure to join us for Monaco next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with a couple of re-airs. Sure, it's old, but you haven't seen it yet, and you'll see it only here on Speed Channel. I'm Bob Varsha for David Hobbs. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to join us for round 5 in Monte Carlo, the most famous racing circuit in the world. We'll see you then. So long, everyone.